Because we have professionals every day that are EMS employees, and we cannot thank you enough for the job that you do. So I want to, in honor of the collective heroism, and in this case I should say, was it sheroism? Because it was the woman that did it this time. I want to honor FDNY EMT Rivera, Mr. Alberti, and Dr. Ascher, who responded to these emergencies and who are our heroes of the month. Thank you very much. And the citation reads, whereas all of Brooklyn gathers here today with family, friends, community leaders, supporters, and the brave men and women who serve our borough on this special occasion to recognize and honor our heroes of the month, EMT Jenelle Rivera, who exhibit extraordinary skill and courage in the performance of her duties. And whereas, on behalf of all Brooklynites, I salute EMT Jenelle Rivera of the New York City Fire Department for her unwavering bravery and commitment to saving lives. I commend her for her knowledge, skill, training, and compassion in performing her duties as a New York City EMT. I applaud her for her bravery given above and beyond the call of duty in aiding Hershi Pfeiffer on Monday, September 22nd, 2014, saving his life by swift action and skill, assisting after he suffered multiple life-threatening wounds to his neck. And I thank everyone present for making this borough one Brooklyn. Now, therefore, I sign my hand in signature, Eric L. Is there a doctor in the house? And so, doctor, we too want to give you, and I'm going to read the last paragraph. Whereas on behalf of all Brooklynites, I salute Dr. Enrico Ascher, Chief of Vascular Surgery at the Lutheran Medical Center, for his unwavering bravery and commitment to saving lives. I commend him for his knowledge, skill, training, and compassion in performing his duties as an emergency medical professional. I applaud him for going beyond the call of duty and saving the life of Mr. Pfeiffer on Monday, September 22nd, 2014, by taking swift action and performing emergency surgery to repair multiple life-threatening stab wounds to his neck. And I thank everyone again present for making this one Brooklyn, and we acknowledge your heroes. Thank you. I was telling Marcell, I don't want to meet him in the alley, you know? And so Marcell, you know, really, when civilians come and respond, you cannot thank them enough. And so we want to just acknowledge what you did as well. Whereas on behalf of all Brooklynites, I salute Marcell Alberti for his bravery and compassion in pursuing and apprehending the man who stabbed Mr. Pfeiffer on Monday, September 22nd, 2014, risking his own life with swift action in pursuit of an armed suspect. And I thank him for making Brooklyn what it is as one Brooklyn. Now, therefore, I sign Eric L. Adams, President of the Borough of Brooklyn. So we want to hear from each one of our honorees and just give them a few moments to speak about today. And we have a representative for Mr. Pfeiffer that's going to speak on his behalf. We have 4 children? Six children. 5 more than me. You know, so his 6 children, as we see here today. His 2 are home, and his 3 beautiful daughters, and his son, who's going to be a future fashion designer. You know, sharpest. You know, so Ms. EMS Rivera first, and then we will hear from our other 2 honorees.
Thank you. Thank you guys for coming out today. I'm honored to receive the citation, and I'm grateful that I was there that afternoon on September 22nd to help Mr. Pfeiffer in his time of need. That morning I woke up, and like any other morning, you know, you go out and you take care of your responsibilities and you run your errands, and for some reason, during that time, I was told to come out from the courthouse that I was at, taking care of one of my errands, and have a lunch break because the attorney at the time wasn't available to handle the paperwork I needed. So I stepped outside and went to the bank. There was a notary that was there the day before that wasn't there that day, so they advised me to go across the street and find a notary in the other building on that same block. And when I did, I finished with that notary and came out, and there was a big crowd in front of the bank, and my initial impression was that the bank was being robbed. You know, that was, EMS teaches you to sort of be safe at all times before any help arrives. So when I realized that it was a stabbing instead of a shooting, I felt a little more comfortable maybe to find out if there was anyone hurt. And when I realized there was someone laying in the street, I knew that I had to jump into action. And at that point, you know, all of my training from the fire department just, you know, it ran through me, and just I went into action, and I was able to save Mr. Pfeiffer that afternoon. And I'm grateful the next morning to have realized that he came out of surgery and he was alive and well. And he remembered who I was, and his wife was there, and I met her. And, you know, 6 kids, I'm just grateful to have been there, and I'm grateful to give him a second chance at life. So I thank you again, and I'm grateful to have my training after 10 years in EMS, and he's able to see his kids again. So thank you all.
I'd like to thank Brooklyn Borough Eric Adams for honoring us today at the ceremony. And the time since the incident has been one of the most humbling and endearing times of my life. I also like to thank Hershi and his amazing wife, Leah, who's shown such great strength during this time. And if there's anything that I've taken from this experience, is that every person, from my actions to the actions of the doctor and the EMT, everybody can be a force for good, no matter how great or small of a gesture. Thank you for the honor and the privilege.
Mr. Borough President, thank you very much for being kind to us and for doing things that were never done before, recognizing Brooklynites on a monthly basis. This is really something innovative, and I personally do not deserve all these accolades. I trained to help people, so I was basically just doing my job. I don't see this any different from what we do on a daily basis, except that Mr. Pfeiffer happens to have more beautiful children than the usual. And I'm very, very happy to see you well. And next day of the operation, he was already talking and has a good memory of everything. And that basically is our reward. But I have to quickly share this recognition with Lutheran Medical Center staff. Wasn't for them, I would not be here. They have a tremendously well-organized trauma center. I was helped by the residents, by the trauma surgeons. Dr. Nazir was there, Dr. Alberti, and also with the anesthesiologist. It was a team effort. I just happened to be the lucky guy getting the citation, but it's a team effort. And I would be remiss if I didn't recognize their contribution. But most importantly than all this is that as I said before, our happiness is to see Mr. Pfeiffer with his kids and his wife happy, and he certainly is going to have a very long life. And remember, it was the hand of God that saved you. Thank you very much.
And on behalf of Mr. Pfeiffer's family, Rabbi Foyer. Rabbi? Thank you.
We don't have to all feel bad. We all got a citation once or another. You know, we parked on the wrong side of the street, or we didn't put enough money in the meter. I'm just merely a spokesman on behalf of Hershi and Leah and the children. Permit me to share with you a story that happened very shortly after September 11th. It would be ironic if it would have happened on September 22nd of the year 2001. There was a memorial service in the garden, Madison Square Garden. It was all nationalities, all races, colors, religions. And there was a Jewish fellow, a Jewish rabbi that came, and he recited a Jewish prayer called the Kel Maleh. It's a prayer for the deceased. And he recited it rather nicely, very emotional. And the mayor at the time, Mayor Giuliani, commented to this rabbi how beautiful it was. But he said, I don't have any tears left. I've been at so many funerals the last couple of weeks. I have no more tears. He was just shut up. He was just shut down. A few minutes later, all over the garden, you know, there's a lot of screens all over the garden to watch what's going on in the courts. And they slowly, very, very slowly, began to show the pictures of heroes from the police department and the fire department, the heroes of New York, much like we have here today. Very slowly, pictures of men and women, heroes that died on September 11th, were shown on the screens of the garden. And suddenly, one particular picture of a firefighter appeared on the screen, and it was silent. At that moment, there was a little girl that cried out, "Daddy!" And you can imagine there was not a dry eye in the whole Madison Square Garden. I want to express myself on behalf of the family. We're very lucky to be here today, because instead of having children to have to point to a picture, to a screen and say, "Daddy," they're right here. Their children and his wife Leah, and his father and his mother, his father-in-law, his brothers, sisters, nephews, nieces, cousins, friends. We're all here, and we can embrace them right after the ceremony. That's amazing. We could all say "Daddy," we could all say "Hershi," we could say whatever we want, but we could touch him. He's there for us. And that is in no small measure to the heroes that we're honoring this afternoon here. And I have to thank, of course, Mr. Eric Adams, the Borough President, for putting this all together. It's amazing, just an amazing thing. And just besides the fact that he's just very humorous, and that's very unique. I have to thank you for that. Just. But more than being humorous, it's not often that you find someone that's involved in politics and helping the community to be so sincere. And I have to tell you, Mr. Adams, I could see it. I could read your heart, I could read your mind. You're a very sincere individual. And we thank you, the whole community and the family, thank you for all your efforts. We want to thank Marcell, the project manager. I don't think this was mentioned, besides the fact that he perhaps tackled the perpetrator here, and we're going to stay away from you for that. But on the exact opposite side of the coin, and now that Ebola is running around the world, there's nobody that would touch someone else's blood without putting on gloves. And this hero that's standing right behind me, my friends, he didn't flinch. He saw the man that he works for lying on the floor bleeding to death. He put his hand on Hershi's hand right on top of that wound. And he was the first instrument in saving Hershi's life. And that's something pretty amazing. Of course, over the last couple of weeks, I've heard so much about Jenelle. Amazing. Dr. Ascher just mentioned, it's really all the hand of God, and we have to mention that over and over again. Every single piece is the piece of a puzzle that she should be an off-duty EMS specialist from the fire department. Happened to go to the wrong place. They sent her to a place. There was no notary there, and she went to another place. It's all God, orchestrating things that she should walk out and be the hero that literally saved his life and just said, Hershi, keep on breathing, keep your eyes open, I'm going to take care of you. Unbelievable, Jenelle, so you should be blessed also for your heroism. We're very, very proud of being just standing here in your presence. By us Jews, we have in many doctors' offices, you'll find a plaque that tells us that the hands of the doctor is really guided by the hand of God. But I can't think of a better doctor that God was guiding that day than Dr. Ascher. I mean, when I walked into this hospital, I have to tell you, as a rabbi of a community and a very close friend of the family, I was actually not expecting that the end would be the way it is today. It was very scary. I actually called someone in my synagogue to take me to Brooklyn to the hospital because my feet just wouldn't carry me. I was so shook up from the news. I asked someone to take me there. And to walk into the hospital as Dr. Ascher walked out of surgery. And he didn't give any guarantees, but he said, it looks hopeful. Those were the words he used. It looks hopeful. I'm optimistic. That itself put everybody at ease and made the recovery process that much easier. And you were the shliach. In Hebrew, the word shliach means the messenger. You're the messenger of God to be the surgeon on call at that moment, to drop everything and come and save Hershi's life. How did he end up in Lutheran? I want to tell you about Hershi. The man lost most of his blood in his body. But when there was a choice of which hospital to go to, Hershi told the people driving the ambulance that afternoon, take me to Lutheran. Take me to Lutheran. I need to go to Lutheran. Why? Because you see, there's a liaison in the hospital. His name's Rabbi Leifer, Meyer Leifer. And Hershi knew that if he goes to that hospital, being guided with Marcell and Jenelle, and Dr. Ascher's there, and he's going to have some help from Meyer Leifer, who's the liaison to the community, and what a job he does. His name goes before him all over. He knew that he'd be in better hands. And I just heard this from Meyer just a few minutes ago. And this is going to be an encouragement to his wonderful wife and his children. When he came into that hospital, this is what he said before he slipped into unconsciousness. He says to Meyer, and only he knew his first name, he said, Meyer, listen, I got a wife and 6 kids. You can't let me die. What does that say for family, my friends? That says an awful lot. It says a lot about where he comes from, the beautiful family to your right and your left. You look around, and they're noticeable, my friend. You look around, and you know who his family is. It's a beautiful, beautiful demonstration about family value here in New York City. It's really special, and on behalf of the family, we also want to thank Rabbi Abe Friedman, who was there the whole time. He was there from the get-go. As soon as Lila came into the hospital, he was there. He was there from the get-go, and he encouraged the whole family that were in the waiting room there for hours. He didn't budge. And of course, he was very instrumental together with Mr. Adams here in putting this wonderful, wonderful afternoon together. So on behalf of Lila, Hershi, and their 6 beautiful, angelic children, we say thank you to all the heroes for allowing us to be able to say Daddy till 120, and he'll respond, here I am. God bless everyone, and have a wonderful day. And I want to introduce for a moment Gitti, the oldest daughter. She wants to say thank you for a few seconds here.
Today is Monday, exactly 6 weeks since the terrible incident that almost took my father's life. They say God works in mysterious ways. It is divine providence that my father was spared and his life was saved. Sometimes you see his miracles openly and they are hidden. God always uses good people to assist in his work. The facts here are shown openly. The attack happened in broad daylight on one of the busiest blocks of Brooklyn, which made it easier for the EMS, the paramedics, and good Brooklyn bystanders to assist immediately in saving my father's life and catching the perpetrator on the spot. To the people God entrusted with my father's first-hand aid, Marcell, Jenelle, and others who are unknown who had a hand in assisting in saving my father's life until EMS arrived. I would like to thank Rabbi Leifer, who was born and raised in Brooklyn. He started his work as a volunteer liaison for many years. Because his name and work is so known all over, my father insisted on going to Lutheran or nowhere else. Immediately after my father's arrival at the hospital, Rabbi Leifer was at my father's side, and he made sure that my father had the best trauma team, including Dr. Ascher. Rabbi Leifer was constantly at my parents' side, assisting with every need, and it still continues today. A special thanks to Dr. Ascher, who made sure to take charge of the operating room and performed a complicated surgery without knowing the outcome, and yet with the least amount of permanent damage to my father. My father would not be standing here today with us without you. You all got to see a miracle openly, and my family would like to thank all of you for being part of this big plan, for being the chosen and right ones to deliver this task. You were all sent by God to save my daddy so that he can continue to be an amazing husband to my mother and the best father to us all. Even though the recovery is a very long road, we have so much to be thankful for. I would like to thank everyone standing in this room. My family and I will be forever grateful. Last but not least, I would like to thank my father for being very strong and for fighting for his life so we don't have to find out what life would be without him. Thank you for always being there for us, and we hope to make you proud for many more years. We love you.
Take a picture from up top. You can do it, trust me. Thank you. Ms. Pfeiffer, you want to say a few words? Come on. You don't have to be shy. You want to, it's up to you. Your oldest daughter will hold your hand.
There are no words that can thank everybody for everything that they did from the beginning till the end. All my amazing friends who stood by our side from the beginning up until now. Thank you.
Yeah. So we're going to take a photo up front.
We would like to capture these precious moments to express our sincere gratitude to the heroes in our successful story of saving the life of our most integral family member, Hershi. By saving his life, you saved many lives, for he is always there for each and every one of us at any given opportunity. Hershi, you really deserve from divine power your life that was granted to you for all your spiritual, physical, and financial help you always portray to us. May you be granted a long, happy, and healthy future ahead of you. With our deepest sympathy and sincere wishes, the Pfeiffer family.
Just a minute. The fire chiefs.